Hayden Christensen does a great job of playing a Jedi that has good in him, but overall succumbs to evil. At least he has a good job of that in Revenge of the Sith, depending on who you ask. A lot of people criticize Hayden Christensen's acting in the interpersonal scenes in Episode 2, which is valid, is very valid. But a lot of the action scenes, a lot of the Jedi scenes, especially in Revenge of the Sith, Hayden Christensen puts forth a very good performance, and you can tell that he at least really, really cares about the role. Point is, the showcasing of the duality of the Jedi is a strength of the prequels. The prequels really explore the Jedi more, showing how powerful and resilient they are, but also showing their arrogance and failure. The Jedi Order is helped a lot by the prequels because of how many different Jedi are shown. Now, a common critique of the Jedi is that they are too stale and too boring at times, with one of the most pointed to scenes being one of the very first scenes that we see of the Jedi.
Power's back.
Relax. You overdid it. Head for that outcome.
Many people think that the Jedi are portrayed as too stale, as I said, and many people believe there is a lack of chemistry between the Jedi actors, and a lot of people think that this lack of chemistry is intensified by them being very stale, very emotionless at times. Now, that opinion is totally legitimate, of course, but it's important we think about this with perspective. The Jedi are trained to keep their emotions in check. Part of being a Jedi is not to act on feelings, but to follow the will of the Force. Now, this is a parallel that is similar to Christianity, where the Bible says not to live your life based on just feelings, but to focus on the sovereign God for guidance. Jedi are supposed to be calm, cool, and collected, being trained to reach the outcome they need to reach, even if it means going through extreme pressure. Now, one could call this boring, which is indeed fair. However, it is important to understand why the Jedi can seem dry and uninterested at times. And we must take a deeper look below the surface to understand why. Jedi aren't supposed to show emotion like this.
Well, Your Highness, guess this is it.
That's right.
Don't get all mushy on me. So long, Princess. Yes, Your Highness.
I thought you had decided to stay.
Well, the bounty hunter we ran into when Lord Mendel changed my mind.
Han, we need you.
We need.
Yes,
Well, what about you need?
I know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Probably don't.
And what precisely am I supposed to know?
Come on. You want me to stay because of the way you feel about me?
Yes, you're a great help to us. You're a natural leader.
No. That's not it. Come on. Come on.
You're imagining things.
Am I? Then why are you following me? Afraid I was gonna leave without giving you a goodbye kiss?
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
I can arrange that. You can use a good kiss.
No, they are instead trained and informed to be like this. And you can even see this shown in the OT. Look at Luke in the first two movies, episode 4 and 5. when Luke is involved with a very emotional or dangerous moment, look at the emotion Luke portrays.
I don't think so. I'm looking for a great warrior.
Oh! Great warrior. Wars not make one great.
Put that down. Now we... Hey! It's my dinner!
How you get so big eating food of this kind?
Listen, friend, we didn't mean to land in that puddle, and if we could get our ship out, we would, but we can't, so why don't you just...
Not get your ship out.
Hey, get out of there!
He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
No. It's not true. That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
In these scenes, Luke is indeed in a dangerous or emotional moment and displays raw emotion just like any normal person would. But he is not a fully trained Jedi in these scenes, however, with very minimal training under his belt in Episode 4, and some, but not a lot, of training in Episode 5. However, in Return of the Jedi, Luke has finished his training, and you can see by his demeanor that he is a lot more calm and cool and collected. Look at him in Return of the Jedi.
Jabba! This is your last chance. Free us or die. I know, Father.
So, you have accepted the truth.
I've accepted the truth that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father.
That name no longer has any meaning for me.
It is the name of your true self you've only forgotten. I know there is good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully. That was why you couldn't destroy me. That's why you won't bring me to your Emperor now.
Now, of course, the scenes that I did just show all have different intensity levels, and sometimes it is a more intense moment than the others. But you can see the point I'm making is that Luke is a lot more calm, a lot more cool, and a lot more collected when he is a fully trained Jedi Knight. Luke acted very similar to how the Jedi act in the prequels. Very calm and cool and seemingly uninterested, but really it's just keeping your emotions in check. Now, Luke acted like this for one movie, the last movie of the OT. However, all of the Jedi acted like this throughout the entirety of the prequels. Hence why many people believe that this is the Jedi being stale and boring, and the actors having no chemistry. The showcasing of how the Jedi can keep their emotions in check, how they are cool and collected, over all three movies of the prequels, that heightens people's beliefs that, well, I guess the Jedi are just boring. Luke acted like this for the entirety of a whole movie, but it was only one movie, and it was a movie after we got to see him acting like a normal person because he wasn't a Jedi yet. Now, if this is still your opinion, that the Jedi are still stale and boring after we discuss this point, by all means, that is a legitimate belief, and you can absolutely feel that way if you so choose to. However, it is just important to be mindful of the Jedi qualifications, how Luke acted in the OT, and the beliefs of a Jedi when formulating an opinion about this topic. Now, I won't spend a lot of time on this topic right here, but I do want to hit on this really quickly. A lot of people critique how Count Dooku hinted at there being a secret Sith Lord to Obi-Wan, and how Obi-Wan should have been able to piece together that the clones were working for the bad guys, and all of that. A lot of people critique Count Dooku's appearance. A lot of people think that Count Dooku had wasted potential in the prequels, which, to some degree, I absolutely agree with. And a lot of people very much so criticize this sequence right here of Obi-Wan and Dooku talking, and they point to the fact that Obi-Wan could have saved the entire galaxy if he just listened to him. Now, that is a very legit concern. And, of course, the explanation of Obi-Wan just forgot or Obi-Wan was just dumb isn't, of course, a valid explanation. But there is an explanation if you think about it. The best conclusion that we can draw from why this happened, why the Jedi were still blind to the secret Sith Lord, of course, Palpatine, is a line that Palpatine says later on in one of the movies. Now, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he basically says the Jedi were so blinded that they could not see the evil right in front of them. Their judgment was clouded, and that's because either they were too complacent, they were too comfortable in the peace that they had ruled over and never expected the Sith to ever come back. The dark side temple that is underneath the Jedi temple could have clouded their judgment. And, of course, we don't learn about this in the actual movies, but in a canon comic, you do learn that there is a dark side temple underneath the Jedi temple that the Jedi temple was built upon, and this could have clouded their judgment. Or they believed that all would be well with Anakin being the chosen one. It is quite possible that the Jedi just never considered the fact that maybe they would lose, maybe the Sith would come back, because Anakin was the chosen one, and they all assumed Anakin was going to bring balance to the Force in the most peaceful way possible. And all those beliefs are legitimate, and it shows a big picture of why the Jedi truly did lose. The prequels is not a story of prosperity and perseverance. It's a story about how the good guys sometimes lose. Good guys were kind of idiots, and they couldn't see the evil which was right in front of them. That's the theme of the prequels. The Jedi just didn't win, and that's one of the reasons why they were too blinded to see the evil right in front of them. Now, I think that many people would say Revenge of the Sith is the best prequel movie, and I do personally agree. Revenge of the Sith is where everything comes to the climax of the prequels. All the actors put forth, I would say, their best performances, and the emotion really resonates from that film. Many people believe that Revenge of the Sith is great, but also that The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones drag the prequels down overall. And if you think the first two episodes are not great films because of the politics, because the Anakin and Padme romance, because the quote-unquote flatness of the Jedi at places, all of that is perfectly fine. To truly love the prequels, you really do have to look past the flaws to see the awesome parts. And if you don't want to do that, you shouldn't be blamed or blasted for that. The bad is definitely prevalent in these movies. There is only a handful of true intense action scenes in The Phantom Menace, like we mentioned earlier. The romance between Anakin and Padme in the second movie is pretty hard to watch at times. Padme dying of heartbreak in the third movie doesn't make sense at all. These are things that are pretty questionable. The only thing that you can really do is simply just look past these things. The politics could be considered a negative by many as well. I personally view it as a necessary aspect to the prequels, but many people view it as boring and unnecessary, and I totally respect that opinion. However, there are also a lot of really cool things with the prequels. We've already talked about some, mainly being the Jedi, but there's a lot of awesome things about the prequels. Think about how many awesome action-packed lightsaber duels there are compared to the 3 that are in the OT. That is a very big positive of the prequels. Seeing the perseverance from characters such as Obi-Wan throughout all the movies, was an awesome backstory to Ben Kenobi. If you are able to follow along with Palpatine's evil plan, it becomes very, very interesting. Now, a lot of people are confused, and a lot of people think that Palpatine's plan is way too convoluted and complicated, which I can understand because it takes a lot of brain power to figure out. But if you do figure it out, if you do want to try to think through Palpatine's ultimate master plan, it really becomes clear how much of an awesome character Palpatine really is. So, Palpatine uses the Trade Federation to invade Naboo because of quote-unquote taxation on trade routes. But in reality, this is really to just bring the Queen of Naboo to the Senate so he can eventually persuade the Queen of Naboo to get Chancellor Valorum, the Supreme Chancellor before him, out of office. After manipulating the Queen of Naboo to get the current Supreme Chancellor out, he is then able to make his way to be the elected Supreme Chancellor, opening the door that he is able to control the politics of the Star Wars universe to help better his plan. After he is Supreme Chancellor, he tries to have Padme quote-unquote assassinated, even though he didn't really want her dead. He knew from his time with Padme in Episode 1 that Padme would use a decoy on just missions from one planet to another. And he was banking on the fact that Padme wouldn't be killed in the assassination attempts. And he wanted the assassination attempts to happen so that he could suggest to have Obi-Wan placed under Padme's protection. Of course, who is Obi-Wan's Padawan in the second movie? Anakin Skywalker. He wanted Anakin Skywalker to be around Padme. After he manipulated his way to have them put together, he relies on Anakin's love for Padme so that he can manipulate that love into fear for Anakin Skywalker. He butters Anakin up so Anakin trusts him and will eventually listen to him. Of course, we also learned that he started the Clone Wars, being secretly in control of the droid and clone army, so that he could spread the Jedi out over the galaxy to have them vulnerable. Mace Windu makes a comment of how the Jedi are not warriors. They're basically cops. They keep the peace, not fight for the peace. So Palpatine's ultimate goal was to spread them out over the galaxy to where they wouldn't be strong together in their numbers. He then manipulates Anakin to believe that if he joins him, he can save Padme, who Palpatine says will surely die if he doesn't take actions. Palpatine may not specifically say this, but of course Palpatine hints at the fact that this is the only way to save Padme. He executes Order 66, killing all of the Jedi that are spread out across the galaxy because of the Clone Wars. And now that all of the clones are turned to Palpatine's side, Palpatine has an army. Palpatine convinces Anakin that the dark side is the only way to save Padme's life, and he has him kill all of the other Jedi that could be a threat to his reign as well. He then tells Anakin to wipe out the Separatist leaders, with Dooku and Grievous being dead already, and frames the Jedi for murder against him, which gains the support of the Senate. Palpatine then forms a dictatorship that the people support. The Jedi are nowhere to be found to stop him, and the Chosen One is his apprentice as Padme dies. Palpatine's plan is complicated, convoluted, and it really does take a lot of thought to piece it together. But if you're one like me who likes to think through complicated and in-depth plots, you realize just how interesting and just how awesome of a character Chancellor Palpatine becomes. If you do not want to take the time to dissect Palpatine's plan, then it would be very confusing and a point of dislike for you for the prequels, and I completely understand that. But for those of you who think that it is awesome and love to think stuff through like I do, that becomes one of the coolest points about the prequels. Overall, the prequels provide some pretty awesome things. They have many cool planets, many cool Jedi, many cool lightsaber battles, and cool bad guys with Darth Maul or Chancellor Palpatine, and an epic final battle. The prequels absolutely have their faults, but they also, in turn, have their own awesome things. So let's wrap this up. Overall, are you going to feel any differently about the prequels? Probably not. And that is okay. This was not meant to be a persuasive video to try to get you to believe that the prequels were good or bad movies. This was just meant to be a breakdown of some of the biggest critiques that the prequels have and discuss them, being fair to both sides, and also to bring light to the cool parts as well. Now, we aren't going to talk about the Disney sequels in this one. This is just strictly about the core 6 movies. I also intentionally left out all discussions about the Clone Wars. I believe that the Clone Wars probably deserve their own video. There's a lot that you could talk about with the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars really does help out the prequels in a lot of ways, specifically Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It really does help it out. But of course, I just wanted to keep this video strictly based upon the actual movies themselves. And that is what we did. I hope that it appeared that I was unbiased and fair to both sides, because I really, truly tried to be. If you hated the prequels, that is totally fine. For the cosmonaut variety hours of the world, I totally respect your opinion and beliefs about the prequels. And if you love the prequels, that is totally great as well. I personally do love the prequels. I am one of those people that chooses to look past the faults, thinks through some of the complicated things, and accepts the bad for what it is, but enjoys the good. I do not bash anyone for having an opinion that is opposite of mine, because after all, entertainment is subjective. Everybody is totally entitled to their own opinion and their own beliefs about any form of entertainment, or anything really. I would love to have discussions with you guys in the comments about the points in this video. If there's anything that I missed, please let me know. If there's any point that you agreed with or disagreed with, please let me know as well. Thank you to everybody who watched this video and made it this far. Much, much love to you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, may the Force be with you.